The Kaaba has yet again made the news for a suspicious disaster. It has recently been ruined by hailstorms and a fierce rainstorm, threatening the safety of worshippers, shocking people on the streets of Mecca, and terrifying Muslims across the globe. Watch until the end of the video to see how the incident at the Kaaba has affected the Islamic faith and its shocking correlation with biblical prophecies. Could this be a scary sign from God as punishment for Muslims? Or could it be a blessing as rain is perceived to be? What could all the sudden events in Mecca, from past ones such as locust infestation and heavy thunderstorms to the recent hailstorm, really mean? If you are already terrified like the rest of Muslims in Mecca are, don't be, as God just might be telling us something we need to pay rapt attention to. Join us as we reveal all the strange happenings at the Kaaba, and don't forget to pray for me, yourself, and everyone. The Kaaba, a sacred structure at the heart of Islam, has recently been ruined by furious hailstorms, casting a shadow over its revered significance. As Muslims worshipped at the Kaaba, a heavy thunderstorm struck. At first, they believed it was a blessing, as religious believers see rain as God pouring blessings on the earth. But it got much more severe when hail began to fall from the sky. The incident caused floods and traffic on the roads and streets of Mecca and confusion in the Masjid temple. Worshippers fled and struggled to get cover to shield themselves from getting hurt by the hailstorm. Children scurried around in the holy grounds, seeking protection or trying to find their families. The recent hailstorms that affected the Kaaba are a meteorological phenomenon with scientific explanations rooted in weather patterns. Some people have even interpreted it as God punishing Muslims at the Kaaba. The notion of God punishing Muslims through natural disasters is subjective and speculative. In Islam, interpretations of events are diverse, and attributing specific events to divine punishment requires careful consideration. The Quran acknowledges that God's mercy is vast and encompasses all aspects of life. The concept of divine retribution is often discussed in the context of moral and ethical conduct, and even then, interpretation may still vary. Muslims who think it is God punishing them view the incident as reminders of humility, encouraging reflection and spiritual growth rather than straightforward punishments. In times of adversity, religious communities often turn to prayer, seeking guidance, solace, and strength. The focus shifts towards fostering unity, compassion, and support for those affected. Rather than emphasizing punitive interpretations, it becomes an opportunity for believers to come together, strengthen their faith, and extend empathy toward one another. Approaching these matters with an open mind and a nuanced understanding of religious teachings allows for constructive dialogue and a more profound exploration of faith. It's crucial to foster an environment where diverse perspectives are respected, ensuring that discussions surrounding religious interpretations remain grounded in empathy and understanding. The Kaaba, housed within the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, holds profound spiritual and historical importance for millions of Muslims worldwide. The structure, draped in a black silk and gold curtain known as the Kiswa, is the core point of Islamic prayers and an emblem of unity for the global Muslim community. The hailstorms that have affected the Kaaba raise concerns among believers about preserving this sacred structure. Built with granite, the Kaaba has weathered various natural elements over the centuries, but hailstorms pose unique challenges. The impact of hail can lead to structural damage, affecting the integrity of this religious symbol. Muslims around the world hold a deep connection to the Kaaba, considering it the house of Allah and a major location for prayers. Any harm or damage to this sacred structure is not merely a physical concern, but resonates as an emotional and spiritual distress for the Muslim community. The hailstorms affecting the Kaaba prompt contemplation on the fragility of even the most revered and robust structures in the face of nature's elements. It serves as a reminder of the impermanence of physical entities, emphasizing the need for humility and acknowledgement of a power beyond human control. While believers may find solace in their faith, the sight of the Kaaba enduring such challenges may evoke a sense of concern and a call for collective prayers. Preserving this sacred space is not only a matter of physical maintenance, but a spiritual responsibility carried by Muslims around the globe. The Kaaba has experienced various natural phenomena throughout history, reflecting the structure's resilience and the deep symbolism associated with these events. Locust infestations have been documented occurrences around the Kaaba. Locusts, being destructive pests, occasionally swarmed the region, posing challenges to the surroundings, including the sacred mosque. The resilience of the Kaaba, standing strong amidst such challenges, symbolizes endurance and spiritual significance for the believers. Rainfall around the Kaaba has also been noted. While Mecca is situated in a desert region with arid conditions, rain occasionally graces the area. Such instances are considered significant, representing a natural manifestation of divine blessings. Rain in the desert is often seen as a symbol of purification and abundance, echoing the spiritual sentiments of cleansing and renewal. Forceful winds have, at times, blown through the vicinity of the Kaaba. While these occurrences can be attributed to regular weather patterns, they carry symbolic weight in the spiritual context. The Kaaba, standing firm against the forces of nature, becomes a representation of unwavering faith and steadfastness. The historical episodes of locust infestations, rainfall, and intense winds around the Kaaba are woven into the rich tapestry of Islamic history. Believers often reflect on these events, interpreting them as signs and reminders of the divine presence and the enduring strength of their faith. The Kaaba embodies not only the physical structure, but also the spiritual resilience that connects believers across generations. Besides being a core place of worship for the Muslims in Mecca, the Kaaba holds profound significance for Muslims across the globe, serving as the central point of Islamic worship and a symbol of unity in their faith. Nestled within the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, the Kaaba stands as the holiest structure in Islam. Its importance is deeply rooted in religious history and tradition. Muslims believe the Kaaba was constructed by the prophet Ibrahim, called Abraham in Christianity, and his son Ismail, called Ishmael in Christianity, as a sacred house dedicated to the worship of the one true God. This devotion laid the foundation for the Abrahamic rituals and subsequently for the practices observed during the annual pilgrimage, known as Hajj, and the lesser pilgrimage, Umrah. While praying, Muslims kneel in the direction believed to face the Kaaba. During Hajj, millions of Muslims from diverse backgrounds converge on Mecca to circumambulate the Kaaba, emulating the actions of Ibrahim and Ismail. This act symbolizes unity among Muslims, transcending geographical, cultural, and linguistic differences. The Kaaba becomes a powerful symbol of equality, emphasizing the universal bond believers share in their submission to God. Beyond its historical and ceremonial significance, the Kaaba represents the Qibla, the direction Muslims face during their daily prayers. Wherever they are on earth, Muslims turn toward the Kaaba, creating a collective sense of connection and alignment in their worship. The black stone, embedded in the Kaaba's southeastern corner, holds additional reverence. According to Islamic tradition, it dates back to the time of Ibrahim and is believed to have been a heavenly stone that descended to earth. Pilgrims often seek to touch or kiss the black stone during their circumambulation, viewing it as a gesture of humility and a connection to the Prophet Muhammad. In essence, the Kaaba serves as a spiritual anchor, embodying the unity of the Muslim community and fostering a shared sense of devotion and submission to the divine. Its symbolism extends far beyond its physical structure, encapsulating the essence of Islam's teachings on faith, humility, and the oneness of God. What does the Bible say about end times and the signs of end times? And what is the correlation between the hailstorms that hit Kaaba and the biblical prophecies of the end times? The Bible, particularly in the New Testament, contains prophecies attributed to Jesus about the end times and signs indicating their arrival. According to the Gospel of Matthew in the Bible, Jesus outlined several events that would precede the culmination of the age. These include wars, famines, earthquakes, and various tribulations. Jesus also warned of false messiahs and prophets who would deceive many, leading to a time of great distress. In the book of Revelation, often attributed to the Apostle John, there are vivid descriptions of apocalyptic events and symbols, providing additional insights into the signs of the end times. The opening of seals, sounding of trumpets, and pouring out of bowls reveal sequences of calamities and judgments that would unfold. These symbolic visions encompass wars, plagues, cosmic disturbances, and the rise of a global authority. One of the critical themes in Jesus' prophecies is the importance of staying vigilant and faithful amidst the challenges. He emphasizes the need for believers to persevere, and he encourages a focus on love, righteousness, and spreading the gospel. The imagery used in these prophecies is rich and symbolic, conveying a sense of urgency and the gravity of the unfolding events. While interpretations of these prophecies vary among Christian denominations, many agree that these passages speak to a future period of tribulation and the ultimate establishment of God's kingdom. The signs Jesus described are seen by believers as indicators of the approaching end times, urging them to be spiritually prepared and steadfast in their faith. The overarching message is hope and redemption for those who endure faithfully until the end. The hailstorms striking the Kaaba have led to contemplation and speculation regarding their potential correlation with biblical prophecies of the end times. Many individuals, drawing connections between current events and religious predictions, have sought to understand if these weather phenomena align with scriptural foresight. In various biblical passages, particularly in the Old and New Testaments, there are references to natural disasters and unusual occurrences as signs preceding or during the end times. Elements like hail, storms, earthquakes, and celestial disturbances are mentioned in these prophecies as symbolic or literal representations of divine interventions or cosmic shifts. In this case, some individuals perceive the hailstorms at the Kaaba as possibly aligning with these biblical prophecies. The symbolic significance of the Kaaba as a holy site in Islam amplifies the impact of such events, prompting contemplation about broader implications and connections to apocalyptic narratives. Interpretations may vary widely, and not everyone sees these events through a prophetic lens. While some view them as signs of imminent changes, others might attribute them solely to natural meteorological phenomena. The intersection of religious beliefs, cultural interpretations, and natural events often leads to diverse perspectives on the meaning and significance of such occurrences. In Islamic belief, the fundamental understanding of Jesus differs significantly from the Christian perspective. Islam acknowledges Jesus, referred to as Isa in Arabic, as a revered prophet and messenger of God, but does not recognize him as the Son of God. The theological concept of the Holy Trinity, which includes the divinity of Jesus as God's Son, is not part of Islamic doctrine. The Islamic understanding of prophets emphasizes their role as messengers God chose to convey divine revelations. In this context, Jesus holds a crucial place in the long line of prophets, delivering a message of monotheism and moral guidance to humanity. However, the specific theological claims about Jesus, including his divine nature and crucifixion, diverge from Christian teachings. Therefore, when it comes to biblical prophecies, Muslims interpret them through the lens of their own religious texts. The Quran, the holy book of Islam, contains prophecies and guidance specific to Islamic beliefs. The concept of hails related to the Kaaba, as mentioned in biblical prophecies, doesn't align with Islamic teachings. Muslims typically approach such prophecies with their unique theological framework, rooted in the teachings of the Quran and the Prophet Muhammad. Islamic perspectives on prophecies and events differ from those in other faith traditions. While recognizing shared aspects with Judaism and Christianity, the theological distinctions guide how Muslims understand and interpret prophetic narratives, including those related to significant religious sites like the Kaaba. What are Muslims worldwide saying about the hailstorms ruining the Kaaba, and how is it shaking their faith? Muslims worldwide have been expressing deep concern and prayers in response to the hailstorms affecting the Kaaba. The Kaaba holds immense significance in Islam as the most sacred structure, located in the Grand Mosque in Mecca. The news of any harm or damage to the Kaaba naturally evokes strong emotions among Muslims globally. The sentiment across Muslim communities is one of unity and prayer. Believers from different corners of the world are turning to God, offering supplications for the protection and restoration of the Kaaba. Prayers are not only an expression of faith, but also a communal response to an event that transcends geographical boundaries. The collective concern reflects the interconnectedness of the Muslim Ummah, emphasizing shared spiritual values. In these moments, Muslims invoke Allah's mercy and protection, seeking divine intervention to safeguard the sacred structure. Turning to prayer is deeply ingrained in Islamic culture, serving as a source of solace and hope during challenging times. Muslims believe in the power of supplication, and the situation concerning the Kaaba has prompted an outpouring of heartfelt prayers from believers worldwide. Social media platforms have become channels for Muslims to express their feelings and share prayers collectively. The digital space becomes a virtual congregation, uniting believers in their desire to restore and protect the Kaaba. The widespread discussions and prayers on these platforms reflect the global reach and impact of events related to the Kaaba on the Muslim community. While opinions may vary on the cause of the hailstorms, the response from Muslims remains centered on faith and reliance on the Almighty. The event serves as a reminder of the interconnectedness of the global Muslim community, transcending borders and ethnicities in times of shared concern for a sacred symbol of their faith. The call for mutual acknowledgement between Christians and Muslims revolves around the shared recognition of one God. In essence, it urges an understanding that the core tenets of monotheism are common ground, fostering an environment where each religion respects the other's beliefs. This plea extends specifically to scriptural prophecies, particularly those related to the end times as found in the Bible. It is no news that for Christians, the Bible is a sacred text containing prophecies outlining events that will unfold at the culmination of time. A critical aspect of interfaith understanding involves Muslims acknowledging the significance and divine nature of these biblical prophecies. The call is for an open-hearted recognition that both traditions hold prophetic insights into the future, creating space for shared contemplation and dialogue. Muslims, in embracing the idea of acknowledging biblical prophecies, are invited to explore the narratives within the Bible that speak of the end times. Understanding and respecting the beliefs encoded in Christian scriptures can be a bridge toward harmonious coexistence. This mutual acceptance promotes a climate where diverse faith traditions can coexist peacefully, fostering respect and cooperation. The shared acceptance of each other's prophecies becomes a foundation for interfaith dialogue and collaboration. It encourages focusing on the commonalities that bind rather than the differences that divide. In this light, recognizing the biblical prophecies as valid expressions of divine wisdom is a step towards nurturing an environment where Christians and Muslims can find common ground and work together for the betterment of humanity. The acknowledgement of scriptural prophecies is not just an intellectual exercise. It is a pathway to fostering empathy, understanding, and unity. It opens conversations about shared values, ethical principles, and humanity's shared responsibility towards the broader global community. As Christians and Muslims find common ground in their spiritual narratives, the potential for building bridges of cooperation and understanding increases, contributing to a world where diverse faith traditions collaborate for the common good. Following the recent environmental events at the Kaaba, Muslims are pondering what might hit next. Many have made guesses, but of course only God knows. Not even scientific theories or hypotheses can tell us what. The sequence of thunderstorms, locust infestation, and recent hailstorms has left many in the Muslim community contemplating the potential significance of these occurrences. The Kaaba, a central and revered site in Islam, has been a focal point for believers globally. The recent natural events have sparked discussions and reflections within the Muslim community about their possible implications. People naturally seek meaning and significance in the face of unusual and impactful phenomena, especially when they involve sacred places. Some Muslims turn to religious leaders and scholars for guidance, hoping for insights rooted in faith and scripture. The discussions often center around interpretations of these events in the context of Islamic teachings, attempting to understand whether there might be symbolic or spiritual meanings attributed to them. The environmental events have also led to conversations about climate change and its potential effects on sacred sites. Concerns about the changing climate and its impact on religious landmarks like the Kaaba are intertwined with broader discussions on environmental stewardship within the Muslim community. While scientific explanations exist for natural phenomena, the human tendency to seek spiritual interpretations is strong. Many are grappling with a balance between acknowledging the scientific aspects of these events and finding solace in their faith. The conversations reflect the intersection of religious beliefs, environmental awareness, and the human quest for meaning in the face of natural occurrences. As Muslims continue to contemplate the recent ecological events at the Kaaba, the discussions span different perspectives, shaking faith, questioning science, and the shared concern for the well-being of the sacred site. Thanks for watching another episode of Beyond Discovery. While you're still here, click on the other videos you see on your screen right now.